The left-wing media, the liberal media, the mainstream media, it used to be they had to print lies about Trump to make him look bad. Now they just have to print the truth.
Hey, we have special guests with us. Owen Shroyer is a media presenter and political activist, best known for hosting The War Room on InfoWARS. From 2016 to 2025, he gained prominence as a vocal supporter of Trump and was later convicted for entering the Capitol building on January 6, serving a 60-day jail sentence before being pardoned by Trump in 2025. In September of 25, he left InfoWARS after a public dispute with Alex Jones, who Shroyer accused of censoring criticism of Trump and Israel, and announced plans to launch an independent media platform. Welcome to the show, Owen Shroyer.
Great to be here. I've been hoping for the invite for a long time, Jimmy, actually.
Okay. Well, I'm pleased that you are doing this. Thank you so much for making time. And let me just show you this, and I want to get your response to it. Okay, I just want to show you this because you were a Donald Trump supporter. You were jailed for January 6th, which is a big deal, and now you're having maybe some buyer's remorse. Let me play this video for you.
Our president will start a war with Iran because he has absolutely no ability to negotiate. He's weak and he's ineffective. America has spent approximately $6 trillion in the Middle East. All the while, our infrastructure at home is crumbling. With this $6 trillion, we could have rebuilt our country twice, and maybe even 3 times if we had people who had the ability to negotiate. America.
So I'll just show you one more quick clip.
These globalists want to squander all of America's strength, blood, and treasure, chasing monsters and phantoms overseas. In addition, there must also be a complete commitment to dismantling the entire globalist neocon establishment that is perpetually dragging us into endless wars, pretending to fight for freedom and democracy abroad.
Okay, I'll just I could play those clips for 24 hours on a loop because there's a million of them. Yep. And so I just wanted to play them for you, former Trump supporter who got jailed for January 6th. So what is your reaction when you see videos like that in this environment today?
Well, let me just start it off with, I wasn't only jailed for January 6th. In my support of Trump since 2015, actually, when he came down the elevator, the punishment for my politics has been very wide-ranging, from solitary confinement in prison to multiple lawsuits, death threats, doxing, guns pointed at me. I mean, you just name it. So I get a little upset when I see these Johnny-come-lately political cucks saying, "Oh, we're never MAGA. You were fake MAGA." No, these people tried to destroy my lives in multiple ways for supporting Trump. So I just kind of want to put that out there for anybody that's not fully familiar with this background. Now, having said that, my issue here, beyond what Trump just said, my issue when I look at the Trump supporters, they're pretending like he didn't say that stuff, Jimmy.
Yes.
As you said, you could play those clips for hours. He said that all the way up to last year, basically. Trump's stance in the Middle East was that way all the way up to last year, essentially. And even with the limited action that we got in the Middle East from the first administration in Syria, and you maybe even throw in Operation Midnight Hammer in there, even those operations were limited enough in scale and scope that he could back out and kind of go back to that stance that he stood on for 10 years. And really before that, actually, you showed the clip from 2017. You can go all the way back to 2011. You can go all the back to the early 2000s when he was criticizing the Bush administration. He's been saying this stuff. So my issue now with this, whatever is left of the MAGA cult really is what it is. They pretend like he didn't say that. And when they get called out on it, they pretend like, oh, you're somehow abandoning Trump or you're somehow, not what you claim to be. No, he's the one that changed his stance, not me. I was very supportive of his anti-war stance. And I would go even further to say this. I believe that the last 2 presidents, Obama and Trump, I'm of the belief the Biden election was stolen, so we'll put that aside. But I am a belief that Obama and Trump both won the election because of their stance on Middle East foreign policy. The reason why Obama was able to beat Hillary Clinton and ultimately win is because he ran against Bush's policies in the Middle East. Guess what? So did Donald Trump. And that's why he beat that deep field of Republicans. Now, I said this the other day, and I think it's true, because one of those clips you played was from Patriot Takes. And this is obviously a left-wing group that started up to kind of counter Trump. And it used to be that the left-wing media, the liberal media, the mainstream media, it used to be they had to print lies about Trump to make him look bad. Now they just have to print the truth. Now they just have to print the truth and he looks bad. Like Hegseth the other day, hey, you guys talking about dead soldiers makes Trump look bad. You don't say, Pete. Well, they're not alive. So what do you want them to do? And, you know, here's the one thing that I think pains me more than anything, and I think it pains my generation more than anything. And Trump said it in one of those clips. I can't even imagine what our country could be like, what our country could look like if instead of spending all the blood and treasure in the Middle East, trillions of dollars, instead we invested that in our country. Some estimates are $5 trillion. Some estimates are over $10 trillion. Whatever the number is, it's an outrageous amount of money. We could have rebuilt our entire country twice, to quote Donald Trump, with all of the blood and treasure that we've spilled in the Middle East. And now here we are doing it again, $1 billion a day. That price tag is going to go up. It's heartbreaking. Aside from the policy disputes, let's say, aside from the foreign policy debates and what this is and what this isn't, I would just love to see for once in my life, I'm a 36-year-old man, I would like to see for once in my life, our politicians actually put our country first. I'd like to see all of our money dedicated to helping our country, fixing our country, rebuilding our country so that we can look like and feel like the greatest country in the world. I would like to see that, Jimmy, and I think that that's the most heartbreaking thing when it comes to another Middle East war or all the foreign aid, all the trillions of dollars that we've just given away. I would like to see that actually stay here to fix our country. I can't even imagine what that would be like.
I just imagine. I mean, you know, you can build a new sports stadium for $1 billion or $2 billion. That's a lot of jobs. That's a lot of jobs for Americans, construction jobs and all kinds of other jobs. Imagine if we just put a brand new sports stadium in the top 50 cities in America. That'd be $50 billion. That's the $50 billion they want to set. So that I'm just off the top of my head. And for the $6 trillion he's talking about, or it's probably way more than that we've spent on the Middle East over the last 25 years. We could have high-speed rail. We could have everything, healthcare. We could have everything we wanted in the United States. We could have new schools. We could have new police departments. We could have new hospitals. We could have anything we want. We could have the most beautiful parks. We could have the most beautiful everything. And instead we have nothing. And it goes into creating enemies in the Middle East. So I'm with you on that. So what do you What do you think about the MAGA coalition? There's no one who was more MAGA than you. Would you consider yourself still being MAGA?
Well, I guess no. I mean, I'm still of the original Trump MAGA, which is get out of the Middle East, repatriate our funds. I mean, just look at what we were promised. Look at what we had been expecting from Trump 2.0 administration. We were looking forward to $1 trillion in Doge cuts per year, $1 trillion per year. And then, okay, what do? You arrest the fraudsters. So that's how you drain the swamp. We were expecting deep state arrests. This is what we were told. There's a shadow government. I think Trump kind of proved it in many instances. These are corrupt criminals that run our government. There have been more Iran strikes than there have been deep state arrests. There have been more dead American troops than there have been deep state arrests. So those are just like two things from the campaign. They didn't give us Doge. He didn't end the wars. They're not arresting any deep staters. Now he's telling us the Epstein files are a hoax. That's obviously BS. So, I mean, I guess modern day MAGA, no, I'm not. Whatever MAGA is now, which is just, I guess, whatever Trump flip-flops on day to day. No, I'm not part of that. I'm part of, and then there was even, oh, well, it's America first. I'm America only is where I'm at. I'm not even America first. I'm America only. They make up this word. The neocons have been doing this for years. They make up this word, oh, you're an isolationist, like somehow that's a bad thing. Well, how about I'm an independentist? How about that? Like the original concept of this country. I'm an independentist. And, you know, I'm in no way, shape, or form really on the left on policy with anything. I don't really have any socialist viewpoints, but I will say I would rather spend $5 trillion on healthcare or food stamps or anything any of these kind of socialist welfare programs that I generally don't support. I would rather spend $5 trillion on that 100 times before I would spend it in the Middle East.
I couldn't agree with you more. At least the money's staying in our own country. So I'm just wondering, so Trump has lost. So here's what Matt Walsh has been saying about the people who are still quote unquote MAGA and supporting Donald Trump, even when he does the exact opposite of what he campaigned on, when he's suppressing the Epstein's, he's covering for the PDF files that run the country, and he's also creating new foreign wars. He says, Matt Walsh says, I can't take these gaslighting guys. I really can't. Conservatives are now running around saying Iran has been waging war on us for 47 years. Okay, then why didn't any of you call for an attack on Iran at any point until now? Why didn't you make a case for Trump ending the war, not starting it, until precisely the moment when Trump did it? You and I both know that you are latching onto a talking point you never used until 45 seconds ago. You and I both know that almost every conservative influencer in the business who opposed to war with Iran until just now. And now you're trying to use justifications that stretch back decades. It doesn't make any sense. If you changed your mind, fine, say so. Explain why you're allowed to change your mind. I've changed my mind about things, but don't try to rewrite history. Be honest about it. There's too much at stake to play these games. So even a guy like Matt Walsh, who works for the Daily Wire, who is, for now, it looks like he's trying to get fired. So you got Marjorie Taylor Greene, you got Tucker Carlson, you got Matt Walsh, you got Thomas Massey, you got Candace Owens, you got some of the biggest names on the right or in the MAGA universe completely going against and calling out Donald Trump. What is there anything left to MAGA, and what does this mean for the midterms, right?
I guess the only thing left of MAGA is what we call cuck-servatives and neocons is I would say what's left. And it really has become a cult. It really has. It goes back to what I said. They used to have to print lies about Trump. Now they just print the truth. It has become a cult. And the names that you just mentioned, we might have different approaches to politics and different policies, but I think the one thing that remains is consistency. We remain consistent on the things that we think, the things that we say, and that's why we're so upset with the direction of where this Trump administration is going. And, you get back to Matt Walsh kind of calling out the hypocrisy on this issue, and now the people that wear the red hat are now the NPCs that we used to make fun of on the left for all of those years. Here's maybe the most obvious example, and it's all across now the neoconservative media, and you might even point it out directionally, the Israeli loyalists, because that's outright what we have now in this country is Israeli loyalists. I mean, there's no denying it at this point. They all can't seem to get on message. Is it a war? Is it not a war? It's kind of the same thing. It's like, look, if you support what's going on, if you support the foreign policy and you support the war in Iran, then fine. That's what you support, okay? There's people that support it. I don't. But it's the same thing. Don't sit here and tell me it's not a war. Like, this is very clearly a war. Everybody knows it's a war. Trump calls it a war. But see, we all know why they're playing this game. They're playing this game because if they say it's a war, Trump is getting impeached because it's an illegal war. They didn't get the congressional approval to go to war. And this is where you get to the midterms. Now, when we started, I was one of the first to kind of break from, let's say, the MAGA coalition last year, and they started calling us panicans. You may remember the word panicking.
Yes.
So I was one of the first people that got lumped into this group of panicans, and I said, hey, look, you're taking a change on policy here. This is going to cost you the midterms. It's not going to be good. Well, now everybody kind of sees where this is going. I think the Republicans are now looking at a slaughter in the midterms. I think Texas isn't even in play. That's how bad this is. And if you get into some of the election data from the primaries, Texas is very much in play. So what I think happened is Netanyahu, the people in charge, they realized that the midterms were not looking good. So Trump cut a deal, and he told Netanyahu, he told Marian Adelson, he told the Israeli lobby that you guys and the big tech lobby too, because big tech is involved in this as well. The deal he cut was with the big tech lobby and the Israel lobby, and he said, look, I don't want to go out a loser. I want to be president. Who knows if he even cares about any policies anymore? He wanted to be president. So he cut a deal with the Israeli lobby to get regime change war in Iran. He cut a war with the big tech lobby to make sure that all the people he cut deals with would have the technology, get the government contracts to do it. That's why Vance is the vice president, and that's why the Iran situation is the number one priority. But I think he thought he had 4 years. And so he figured, okay, I got 4 years to do this. I can do the mass deportations, make sure there's no terrorists here. I can do some energy deals so that if things go bad in Iran, we can still have oil coming in. Well, this and some other things, it didn't happen. It didn't happen fast enough. So Netanyahu went down there on New Year's Eve to Mar-a-Lago and said, we got to do this now. There's no guarantee you're going to win the midterms. We don't have 4 years. And if you don't do it, guess what? New Epstein files are going to come out. And all of that has now happened. And so now you see the development into this regime change war. So that's been the priority. I believe that's the deal that was cut. I believe they now know that the midterms are not looking good and impeachment could be the future for Donald Trump a year from today. And so that's why they're pressing the gas on all of this stuff. And there's seemingly really no plan. There's no coordinated messaging. They don't even know what to do about oil. They can't even get the oil out of Venezuela for another 6 months to a year. The oil that was ready for market, do you know where it got sent, Jimmy?
China.
Israel.
Oh, it went to Israel?
It went to Israel.
Oh.
Yeah, go plug it in. Tell your crew, go plug it in. The oil that was ready for market went to Israel. We didn't even get that. We didn't even get the damn oil. So how much is this costing the American taxpayers? I know, right? Hands on, palm in face. So that's where we're at. You know, that's where this whole movement is at. That's why I can't support it. And it's really, look, yeah, you've been around long enough, Jimmy. You know people on the left, people on the right. That people are dumb. People are dumb. They fall for everything. Politicians lie. But this has been, for me, who kind of, maybe aligns more with some right-wing stuff politically, for me, it's like I thought the right wing, I thought we moved the ball farther down the field. It's like I thought kind of the right wing had this coalition that kind of moved the ball farther down the field, that we understood some things a lot better. It turns out it was maybe a 1 yard gain at best.
Yeah, I guess. Well, I always talk about how this left-right dichotomy is false and for most of the big issues, right? There's certainly things that people disagree on, but we all want the same things. And the establishment makes out like a bandit by divide and conquer. And that's what they do. And I keep say we need to come together to oppose the oligarchs, because what people don't realize, and maybe I'd like to get your opinion on this, is that the left and right have come together, but they've come together at the top of the parties, right? The people who control the parties, the billionaire class, the WEF globalists, they're all united. So those people are the billionaires that support the Democrats and the billionaires that support the Republicans. They're the real shadow government. They're the ones who have actually come together. They're for the Ukraine war. They're for the Iranian war. They're for the overthrow of Maduro. They're for all this stuff, all the bad stuff. They're for increasing the budget on the Pentagon. They're for all this. Right now, we just did a story. The Democrats are going to give Trump his $50 billion to keep doing more war. So would you agree with that assessment that the left and right has come together, but just at the top?
Yeah, it's the Uniparty. It's kind of the surface level of the deep state. And this is what somebody like me elected Trump to do. We wanted him to go in there and be an agent of change. And it turns out he was actually an agent of amplification, if anything. It seems like he's just now part of the establishment, part of the swamp, the king swamper now. So to me, it's just like that's the ultimate betrayal. Most people can see it. Most honest people that were Trump supporters, I think, have come around and are faced to admit it now. I do think, too, a perfect example is they just had that vote. I'm sure you saw. They just had that vote of, I think it was Nancy Mace that had the bill to reveal the names that were part of that slush fund for sexual assault allegations and paying off the victims. Well, guess what? Congress voted against revealing those names. Go figure. Massively, too. It wasn't even close. So that's the kind of thing. It's like the swamp always looks out for the swamp. And they're always working together to make sure that they're having each other's backs. It's like, yeah, they fight on some policy issues and they fight on some things in bills. But at the end of the day, they're always going to end up scratching each other's backs, except for a couple names here and there that kind of divert off of the Uniparty path every once in a while. But mostly it's just the Uniparty always getting their way. And it's like, oh, let's stop insider stock trading. Nope, they vote against it. Oh, let's expose who used a government slush fund to pay off victims of sexual assault. Oh, nope, they vote against it. oh, here comes a vote for more funding for war and everything else. Oh, well, they're all going to vote for that every time. So the American people just get screwed no matter who's in power. That's the big joke. And I think that that's what a lot of people now are realizing. It's like, I accept that not everybody's going to have the same politics as me. I'm not a crazy person, and I don't even want to live in that world, quite frankly. But you're starting to see now where it's like, I can sit here and deal with liberals that have different domestic policies, whatever. And it's like, yeah, some things are just obvious. Like, it's obvious we need to stop spending all this money on foreign aid. It's obvious that we're being drug into these wars for foreign and special interest. It's not good for our country. So it's like, okay, I got my differences with some liberals, progressives, whatever. But some things are so obvious. I mean, the Epstein files, it's like some of this stuff is so obvious that we can see that there is a potential for a coalition. And I'm wondering if it doesn't manifest itself into some sort of a Thomas Massie Ro Khanna ticket in 2028. I wouldn't be surprised maybe if we start to see a coalition like that, or the idea of something like that happen, because our country is so desperate for reform right now that it looks like Trump isn't going to deliver on. But that might be a little too far out to say. But we'll see what happens in these midterms. I think the midterms are going to change the direction. I anticipate the Democrats are going to run on foreign policy and win. And I think it's going to be more directional than we're used to. I think it's going to be blatantly even anti-Israel in a very direct way. And I think it's going to work for them, quite frankly. I think it's going to work for them. And that could change American politics forever. And I think, again, I think Netanyahu knows this. I think the Israeli lobby knows this. That's why they're funneling AIPAC money into different groups. That's why they're pressing the pedal to the metal on the regime change war in Iran instead of waiting till we can get some other things in order. Because I think they know that is an inevitability.
So I agree with everything you said. If you like to hear my jokes about this, come see me in San Antonio, Albuquerque, Houston, Dallas, Salt Lake City. We'll be at the Comedy Store in Los Angeles in April, and then Las Vegas, and then Tulsa, and then Oklahoma City. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets, because that's where you're going to find the most affordable tickets. Anywhere else charges more.